Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Yes, I am very happy to be here with you. It's very blessed for me. So, but this time is Culture Sunday, así que es en español. Vamos a continuar en español. Realmente, ¿cómo estuvieron esta mañana en la alabanza?
How were you this morning during worship?
Qué increíble tiempo.
Wasn't that an incredible time?
Increíble tiempo.
It was incredible.
Y estoy sorprendida
And I'm so
que
surprised
cuando Dios quiere hacer algo,
that when God wants to do something,
Él lo hace.
He does it.
Y Él usa los medios
And He uses the means
y Él se mueve
and He moves
para tener todo en conjunto.
to bring everything together.
Hoy vamos a hablar un tema muy especial
Today we're going to talk about a very
que
special
Dios
topic
puso en mi corazón para su iglesia.
that God put on my heart for His church.
Y cada una de
And
las canciones
And every one of the songs
van relacionadas al tema.
are related to the
Es
topic.
increíble. Dios preparó
It's incredible. God
este
prepared
tiempo
this time
para entrar
to come in
en intimidad con Dios.
to bring us into intimacy with Him.
Y eso es lo que vamos a ver hoy.
And that's what we're going to talk about
Entrar
today,
en intimidad.
to be in intimacy.
Porque a
With him.
final de cuentas,
Because at the end of the story,
cuando nosotros vayamos
when we go
a vivir con Él,
to live with Him,
es lo único que vamos a hacer.
that's the only thing that we're going to do.
Así
So
que yo te invito
I would like to invite you
a que te vayas acostumbrando.
to start getting used to it.
Porque allá
Because there
no va a haber quejas,
won't be
no va a haber
complaints.
preocupaciones,
There won't be
no va a haber
worries.
afanes,
There won't be
no va a haber
stresses.
enfermedades,
There won't be illness.
no va a haber nada
There won't be anything.
más que estar adorando a Dios,
Only us
estar
worshiping Him
disfrutando de su presencia.
and enjoying His presence.
Amén.
Amen.
Y si no nos acostumbramos,
And if we're not used to it,
algo va a pasar
something's going to happen.
que no va a ser muy bueno, ¿verdad?
It's not going to be very good, right?
So, déjenme abrir aquí mis notas. Está un poquito baja la mesa.
Could we lift up the table, anybody? I don't know how to do it. Is there one? That's right.
More?
A little? Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. ¿Cuántos estuvieron la vez pasada que compartí aquí con ustedes?
How many were here the last time I had the opportunity to share with you?
Algunos cuantitos. No sé si recordarán el tema.
I don't know if you remember the topic.
Voy a hacer un breve resumen muy rapidito.
I'm going to do a really quick summary of what I talked about.
Y fue acerca
And
de
it wa-
que Dios viene por su iglesia
And it was about that God is coming for His church.
y que viene por su novia.
And He's coming for His bride.
Y hablamos del vestido, no sé si recuerdan.
And we were talking
¿Verdad?
about that dress.
Y
I don't know if
hablamos
you
del
remember.
anillo, que aquí está Paul, puedes levantar tu mano con tu anillo.
And we were
Hablamos,
talking about
Dios
that
pone
ring.
un
I don't know if
anillo
you remember.
en nuestra mano
That we have this ring on our hand.
para tener un compromiso, un pacto con Él.
That we have this commitment, this promise with Him.
Después de que un matrimonio se casa,
After a couple gets married,
¿qué viene después?
what comes after?
Viene la luna de miel.
The honeymoon comes.
¿Verdad? Viene la intimidad.
Intimacy comes.
Dios viene por su iglesia.
God is coming for
Y es lo
His
que
church.
no quiere que pierdas de vista.
And He doesn't want you to lose sight.
Y para eso tenemos que aprender a entrar en intimidad con Él.
And in order to not lose sight of that, we
So,
have to
are
keep
you
our
ready to
intimacy
listen?
with Him.
Are you ready to listen this message for the next 2 hours? Okay. So, para poder hablar este tema,
In order to talk about this theme,
yo quise representarlo con algo que se les pudiera quedar grabado.
I wanted to represent it with something that would stay recorded in us.
Y busqué una historia en la Biblia,
And I looked for a story in the Bible
muy conocida por muchos de nosotros,
that is probably very well known by many
que
of
se ha
us.
predicado mucho,
It's been preached
la
about
hemos
many
leído
times.
mucho.
We probably read it many
Ustedes ya la
times.
conocen, yo creo que al revés y al derecho.
I'm sorry.
Ok, ustedes ya la conocen muy bien.
Okay, you guys probably really know it well.
Y es la historia de Marta y María.
And this is the story of Martha and Mary.
¿Sí han leído?
Have you
¿O han
read it?
escuchado de ellas?
Have you
¿Alguien por
probably
acá?
heard about it before?
¿Sí? Ok, bueno, quiero que vayamos a Lucas capítulo 10, que es
If we
donde
could-
encontramos esta historia.
If we could turn to Luke chapter 10, this is where we're going to find the story.
Ya, verso 38 al 42.
We're going to read from verse 38 to 42.
Creo que por ahí. Lo leo en español. Dice, aconteció que yendo de camino, entró en una aldea y una mujer llamada Marta le recibió en su casa.
Now, as they went on their way, thank you. Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house.
Esta tenía una hermana que se llamaba María, la cual sentándose a los pies de Jesús, oía su palabra.
And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching.
Pero Marta se preocupaba con muchos quehaceres y acercándose dijo, Señor, ¿no te da cuidado que mi hermana me deje servir sola?
Could we back that up?
Dile pues que me
But
ayude.
Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me.
Respondió Jesús y le dijo, Marta, Marta, afanada y turbada estás con muchas cosas.
But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things.
Pero solo una cosa es necesaria. Y María ha escogido la buena parte, la cual no le será quitada.
But one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her.
Aquí vemos un escenario de dos hermanas, Marta y María.
Here we have a scenario with two sisters, Martha and Maria.
Pero yo quiero esta mañana
But this morning I want
que tú tomes este papel,
you to take this
no más
part.
Marta y María,
I don't want you to see Martha and Maria.
no dos personas,
Not two people,
una persona.
just one person.
Por ejemplo,
For example,
bueno, mi nombre es Marta,
her name is Martha.
pero soy Marta Patricia. Tengo dos nombres.
I have two names, Martha, Patricia.
¿Alguien más tiene dos nombres por aquí?
Does someone else have two names
Dos
here?
nombres. En México se acostumbra mucho a poner dos nombres o hasta tres,
In Mexico, it's very common to have two or even three names
más dos apellidos.
and two last names.
O sea, imagínense, ¿no?
Just
Muy
imagine
largo.
that.
Ok, pero bueno, aquí eran dos hermanas, Marta, María.
So there are two sisters here, Martha
Pero
and
quiero
Maria.
que ubiques ahorita tu nombre, o sea, Marta Patricia.
But right now, I want you to put your two names, your first two names, in that part.
Mi esposo, Rafael Octavio.
And my husband, Rafael Octavio,
Octavio. Pon tu nombre,
put your name in there.
¿sí? Vamos a hacer una cosa.
We're going to do something.
Quiero que cierres tus ojos.
I would like you to close your eyes,
Ahí donde estás.
wherever you are.
Dice que estando de camino Jesús,
It says that while Jesus was on his way,
Marta lo invitó a su casa.
Martha invited him to her house.
Y cuando entró a su casa,
And when Jesus entered her
María
house,
se sentó a sus pies.
Mary sat down at his feet.
Y Marta, por lo emocionada que estaba,
And Martha, because she was so excited to have him there,
comenzó a servir y a hacer miles de cosas,
started to run around serving and do thousands and thousands of
menos
things.
a ponerle atención.
But the last thing that she did was to sit down and pay attention to Jesus.
Cierra tus ojos.
Close your eyes.
Imagínate que estás sentada a los pies de Jesús.
Imagine yourself sitting at the feet of Jesus.
No te distraigas con nada.
Don't be distracted
No
by
pienses quién
anything.
está al lado de ti.
Don't think about who's beside you.
Concéntrate en la presencia de Jesús.
Concentrate on the presence of Jesus.
Disfruta su presencia.
Enjoy his presence.
Y si quieres, vamos a inhalar y a exhalar.
And if you want to, let's take a deep
Hazlo,
breath in and
hazlo
a
3
deep breath
veces.
out.
Y mientras estás haciendo eso, dile al Señor qué tan hermoso es.
And while you're doing that, tell him how awesome and wonderful he is.
Dale gracias por todos los beneficios que te ha dado.
Thank him for all the benefits that he has given you.
Trata de buscar su presencia.
Try to look for his presence.
Gracias, Jesús.
Thank you, Lord.
Oh, Aaron, church, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I remember. I have to go.
Lo siento, tengo que ir.
So, Aaron, tú puedes seguir la plática, por favor?
Can I?
Ya.
I don't think so.
Es que lo siento, pero recordé que mañana es lunes
Oh no, I remembered that tomorrow is Monday.
y tengo una semana muy complicada
And I just remembered that I have a very full week.
y no he hecho mi lista
And I haven't made my list.
y tengo que lavar ropa.
And I have to wash clothes.
Tengo mucha ropa que lavar.
I've got a mountain of it.
No he ido al súper.
And what?
No he ido al supermercado.
And I haven't gone to do my grocery shopping.
Y tengo que hacer lunch para mi hijo.
And I have to make lunch for my son.
Y empiezan las provinciales del voleibol de mi hijo.
And my son's game,
Y tengo
the
que-
provincials are starting.
Y tengo que apoyar en la escuela con muchas cosas.
And I have to go help him and support him with many things at the school.
Tengo que hablar con mis otros hijos.
And I have to
en
talk to
México.
my other kids.
Tengo muchas cosas que hacer.
I've got so many things to do.
Lo siento, me tengo que ir.
I'm so sorry, but I have to
¿Alguien
go.
quiere continuar la plática?
Would you like to keep this topic going?
Eso es lo que pasa
This is what happens
cuando entramos a la presencia de Dios
when we come into the presence of God.
y los afanes
And all the
y
worries
la ansiedad
and all the
y la
anxieties
preocupación
and all our
te
worries
vienen a tus pensamientos.
come into our
Te
thoughts.
saca de la presencia de Dios.
And they take us out
Te
of God's
saca de la
presence.
intimidad de Dios.
They push us out
¿Por
of
qué?
intimacy with Him
Porque tus pensamientos no te dejan.
because our thoughts
Porque
don't
estás
let
lleno de
us.
afanes.
Because we are filled with all these
Estás
worries.
lleno de preocupaciones.
We're filled with so much worry.
¿Y qué dice
And what does it say
la
here?
palabra de esto? Por nada estés afanoso.
God's word says, don't be worried about anything.
Cuando tú llenas tu vida de ansiedad,
When you fill your life with worry,
pierdes de vista lo primordial.
you lose sight of the most important thing.
La ansiedad
Our anxiety, our worry
es una preocupación persistente
is a worry that is persistent,
que puede convertirse
that can
en una
become
enfermedad
a sickness
si tú no la sabes controlar.
if you don't know how to control it.
Hay dos tipos de ansiedad.
There are two kinds of anxiety.
Un tipo de ansiedad sana,
There's a healthy kind,
que es la que te va a avisar cuando algo no está bien y tú puedas elegir el camino correcto.
The healthy kind tells you something's wrong, and it will help you to choose which way to go.
Esta ansiedad puede ser controlada, que te puede mantener alerta
This kind of worry can be controlled, and it keeps you alert
para tomar esas buenas decisiones.
in order for you to make good decisions.
Pero cuando esta se sale de control,
But when this goes out of control,
se convierte ya en una ansiedad patológica.
it becomes a pathological sickness.
Sí, una enfermedad, un
An
trastorno.
illness.
Ya. ¿Y qué hace esto? Te roba la paz.
And what does that do? It steals
Te
peace.
roba la capacidad de vivir en una manera libre y feliz.
It robs you of the ability for you to live in freedom and in peace.
Porque constantemente vas a estar batallando con esas preocupaciones.
Because constantly on the inside, you're battling with all of these worries.
Te limita a tal grado
And it limits you to such a degree
que puedes llegar a perder la capacidad
that you can even lose the ability,
de realizar las actividades y responsabilidades que te corresponden.
that you can even lose your ability to do the things that belong to you to do.
Dios sabía que en este mundo íbamos a pasar aflicciones.
God knew that in this world we would face afflictions.
En Mateo 6:25,
In Matthew
vamos a
6:25,
leerlo rapiditos.
if we could look
Quiero
there
que por ahí.
quickly.
Dice, por tanto les digo, no os afanéis por vuestra vida, qué habéis de comer o qué habéis de beber, ni por vuestro cuerpo qué habéis de vestir. ¿No es la vida más que el alimento y el cuerpo más que el vestido?
Okay, could we back that up? Okay, look. Back. Therefore, I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on.
Y
It's not-
vamos a saltearnos hasta el versículo 34.
And we're going to jump to verse 34.
Dice, así que no os afanéis por el día de mañana, porque el día de mañana traerá su propio afán. Basta cada día su propio mal.
It's gone.
Se fue. Ok.
But we're not worried.
Por nada estéis afanosos.
Don't be anxious about anything.
No tienes por qué preocuparte por el día de mañana.
You don't have to be afraid or worried about what's
Porque
going to happen
cada
tomorrow.
día ya tiene su propio afán.
Because each day has enough of its
¿Qué
own.
hicimos ahorita?
What did we do just now?
Cuando entramos a la presencia de Dios.
When we entered into God's presence.
Y de repente vienen nuestros pensamientos de ansiedad,
And all of a sudden those anxious thoughts
de
start to get into our
preocupaciones
minds.
por lo que tienes que hacer el día de mañana.
All of the things that we worry about that we need to do tomorrow.
Dice la palabra, no estéis afanados por el día de mañana.
The Word of God says, don't worry about tomorrow.
Cada día tiene su propia preocupación.
Each day has its own worry.
¿Tenemos preocupaciones?
Do we have worries?
Sí tenemos preocupaciones.
Absolutely we
¿Tenemos
do.
responsabilidades? Sí tenemos responsabilidades.
Do we have many responsibilities? Yes, we
Pero
do.
nuestra responsabilidad primordial
But our most important
es
responsibility
saber controlarla,
is to know how to
saber
control it
manejarla,
and to know how to
saber
handle it
llevarla a los pies de Jesús.
and to know how to bring those worries to
¿Para
the feet of
qué?
Jesus.
Para que ella no te controle a ti.
So those worries no longer control
Y
you.
no pierdas de vista
And you don't lose sight
el disfrutar
and to enjoy
lo mejor de Dios.
the best that God has for each of us.
Regresando a la historia de Marta María,
Let's go back to the story of Martha and Maria.
la emoción de recibir a Jesús en su casa
The excitement of having Jesus come to her house
probablemente le trajo mucha emoción.
probably brought her a lot of excitement.
Cuando alguien va a venir a tu casa, ¿cómo te pones?
When someone's going to come to your house, what happens to you?
Te pones afanoso.
You get worried.
Quieres que todo esté listo.
You want everything to look
¿Quieres que
nice.
todo luzca bien?
You want everything to look good.
¿Estás limpiando, ordenando, cocinando rico?
You're cleaning, you're cooking, you're making everything look
Y
just right.
posiblemente a lo mejor no terminas de hacer todo lo que tú quieres hacer.
And could you say that one more time?
Posiblemente
And possibly,
no termines de hacer todo bien.
and very possibly, I feel this, you don't finish in time for when that person gets there.
Yeah. Good. So, es normal que la emoción surja.
And it's so normal for those emotions to come up inside of us.
Te pregunto a ti,
But I would like to ask you today,
¿cómo estás reaccionando tú ante la situación que posiblemente estés atravesando hoy en día?
how are you reacting to the situation that you are facing in your life today?
Cuando la ansiedad patológica o la enfermedad, la ansiedad como una enfermedad,
When anxiety, like a sickness,
te controla a ti,
controls you,
es muy difícil salir de ella.
it's very difficult to get out of it.
Esas personas que sufren ansiedad
People who suffer from anxiety
sufren en
really
su interior
suffer on the inside
porque no saben controlarla.
because they don't know how to control it.
Yo te voy a decir una cosa.
And today I want to tell you something.
Si tú estás pasando una situación de estas,
If you are going through one of these situations,
hay maneras de controlarlas.
there are ways to control it.
Necesitas buscar ayuda.
You need to look for help.
Necesitas buscar ayuda.
You need to look for help.
Primeramente, necesitas venir a rendirte a los pies de Jesús.
First, you need to surrender and bring yourself to the feet of Jesus.
Pero ir a buscar una ayuda profesional
And also go and look for a
No es
professional to
malo.
help you. It's not bad. It's not
no
wrong.
tienes por qué sentir vergüenza
You don't have to feel ashamed
por estar atravesando una ansiedad que te está matando por dentro.
You don't have to feel ashamed about going through a situation that brings so much anxiety that it's killing you on the inside.
Porque Dios lo que quiere es que vivas feliz y libre.
Because what God wants for you is that you live free and with happiness.
Hay varios puntos de cómo salir de la ansiedad.
There are several points here that I want to share about coming out of
Voy a hablarte un
anxiety.
poquito en lo natural y en lo espiritual.
And I'm going to share two things about from a natural perspective and from a spiritual perspective.
Como dijimos, en lo natural busca ayuda.
In the natural, look for professional help.
También puedes ayudar a salir de la ansiedad haciendo ejercicio.
You can also, naturally speaking, come out of anxiety by exercising.
Tienes que cambiar maneras de alimentarte.
You need to also change the way you eat.
Reduce el azúcar,
Reduce sugar,
incrementa más vegetales,
increase
frutas,
your
verduras,
intake of vegetables and
reduce
fruit.
el azúcar,
Reduce sugar.
toma vitaminas, sobre todo ahorita en el invierno.
Take lots of vitamins, especially in the winter.
La vitamina D va a ayudarte.
Especially vitamin D, because it helps without the sun.
Duerme entre 7 y 8 horas como
Try to
mínimo.
sleep 7 or 8 hours at least.
Y ora también.
And pray.
Estas son acciones
These are actions
que te van a ayudar
That will help you.
a manejar y a controlar la ansiedad.
that will help you to control
Porque esta
anxiety.
Marta y María,
Because this Martha and Maria,
o Marta Patricia, o tu nombre,
and Martha Patricia, or your name,
eres una persona que ama a Dios.
you are a person who loves God.
Decía al inicio de la historia de Marta y María, Jesús entró en su casa
It said at the beginning of the story that Jesus entered their
Y
house.
Marta y María amaban a Jesús.
And Martha and Maria loved Jesus.
Tú y yo amamos a Jesús.
You and I love Jesus.
Entramos a la presencia de Dios.
We come into the presence of
Nos
God.
sentamos a sus pies.
We sit at his feet.
Tratamos de escuchar su voz.
We try to hear his
Tratamos
voice.
de dialogar y alabarle a Él.
We try to speak with him and worship him.
Pero de repente viene esa ansiedad a nuestra vida,
But all of a sudden, anxiety floods us on the inside.
que es la que nos desconecta.
And it disconnects us.
Tenemos que dar pasos de acción
We need to take action steps
para no desconectarnos de la presencia de Dios
so that we don't disconnect
y
from God's
mantenernos
presence.
enfocados, alineados.
And maintain our focus and alignment with him.
¿Sí me estoy dando a entender?
Are you following me, church?
En lo espiritual, vamos al Salmo 23.
Now we're going to look on the spiritual side of things, Psalm 23.
Salmo 23, versículo 5.
Psalm 23, verse 5.
No sé si lo están poniendo por ahí.
Not yet.
No, yet.
Now it's there.
Fíjate bien en lo que lo buscan. Cuando tú entras a la presencia de Dios
When you enter into God's presence
a buscar una intimidad con Él,
to look for intimacy with him,
¿qué dice ahí?
what does it say here?
Aderezas mesa delante de mí en presencia de ¿quién? De mis angustiadores.
Look what it says here. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
Cuando tú entras a la presencia de Dios,
When you
Él
come into
te
God's
tiene
presence,
preparada una mesa, un
He-
banquete.
when you come into God's presence, he has a table, a banquet prepared for
Te
you.
tiene preparada mucha palabra
He has his word
que va a traer paz a tu vida,
that will bring peace
que
to
va a
your
traer
life,
dirección a tu vida,
that will bring direction
que
to
va a
your
traer
life,
gozo a tu vida.
that will bring joy to your life.
Y dice ahí
And it says
que
there
lo va a hacer
that he will do it
aún en
even,
presencia de tus angustiadores.
even in the middle of your enemies or your troubles.
Aunque las voces
Even though the voices
de las circunstancias, de los problemas, de las situaciones que estás viviendo,
even though those voices of all the troubles and all the problems and all the circumstances you're living through right now,
Él está ahí.
even in the middle of that, he is there.
O sea, que las circunstancias
In other words, the
de tus
circumstances,
preocupaciones,
your worries,
aunque estén alrededor de ti y al lado de ti,
even though they're around you and surrounding you,
diciéndote, tienes mucho que hacer.
telling you, you've got so much to do.
Hey, salte de la presencia de Dios.
Hey, get out of God's presence.
Hey,
You don't have time.
ponte a organizar lo que te toca hacer.
Get organizing the things that you need to take care of.
O tal vez,
Or
¿para qué
maybe,
estás ahí?
maybe it's saying, why are you there?
No vale la pena.
It's not worth it.
Tú no eres nadie.
You're nobody.
No vales nada.
You're not worth it.
Estás perdiendo tu tiempo.
You are wasting your time.
Dios no te escucha.
God's not listening to you.
Van a haber muchas voces.
There's going to be so many
Aunque
voices.
estés sentado a los pies de Jesús.
Even though you are seated at God's feet, at Jesus' feet.
Aunque estés sentado a los pies de Jesús.
Even though you're
¿Sabes
sitting
por
at
qué?
Jesus' feet. Do you know
Porque
why?
el enemigo no duerme.
Because our enemy doesn't
Porque
sleep.
él va a estar aventando sus dardos de fuego.
He's going to be always throwing his
Va a estar
fiery darts
rodeando
at
tu
you.
vida.
He's going to be what?
Va a estar rondando tu vida
He's going to be running around in your life
para que tú te desanimes.
so that you become discouraged.
El propósito del enemigo
The enemy's purpose
es robar,
is to steal,
matar y
kill,
destruir.
and destroy.
Roba tus ilusiones,
He steals your
mata
dreams.
tus anhelos,
He kills your desires.
destruye todas tus ilusiones.
He destroys all of your dreams.
¿Por qué?
Why?
Porque quiere separarte.
Because he wants to
Quiere
separate
alejarte
us and make us go far away
de que recibas esa bendición.
so that you don't receive
El
this
banquete
blessing.
que Dios te da.
This banquet that God has prepared for each of us.
Salmos 42:11
Psalm 42:11.
dice, ¿por qué te abates, oh alma mía?
Why are you cast down, O my soul?
¿Por qué te turbas dentro de mí?
And why are you in turmoil within me?
Espera en Dios,
Hope in God,
porque aún he de alabarle.
for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God.
¿Por qué turbarnos? ¿Por qué caer en ansiedad?
Why do we get so upset inside and fall into anxiety?
Salmo 103:1
Psalm 103, verse 1
dice, alaba, alma mía, al Señor
says, bless the Lord, O my soul,
y no olvides ninguno de sus beneficios.
and all that is within me, bless his holy name, and don't forget any of his blessings.
¿Por qué te abates, oh alma mía?
Why are you downcast, O my soul?
¿Por qué caes en ansiedad?
Why are you
¿Por
following
qué le
into
haces
anxiety?
caso a esas voces que te están perturbando?
Why are you paying attention to all those voices that are tormenting you?
Le está hablando a tu alma, porque del alma surgen las emociones.
They're talking to your soul, because out of your soul comes all of your
¿Y de dónde
emotions.
vienen esas emociones?
And where do these
De
emotions
los
come from?
pensamientos.
From all of our thoughts.
¿Y de dónde vienen los pensamientos? De donde surgen las cosas que tú estás viviendo
And
a
where
tu
do all our
alrededor.
thoughts come from? They come from all the things that we are living through today.
¿Sí me captan?
Are you following?
Tan importante
It's so important
cuidar tu alma.
to take care and guard your heart, your soul.
Alaba, alma mía, al Señor.
Bless the Lord, O my soul.
No olvides ninguno de sus beneficios.
Don't forget any of his benefits.
Fíjense muy bien.
Look really carefully at this.
Tengo aquí algunas claves de cómo tomar el control de esa ansiedad.
I'd like to share a few keys to help you to take control of this anxiety.
Pero también hay un obstáculo muy grande.
But there's also an obstacle that's very big.
Y es cuando Marta,
And it's when Martha
le dice a Jesús,
tells Jesus,
Jesús,
Jesus,
mira a mi hermana,
look at my sister.
dile que me ayude.
Tell her to come and help
¿Qué no
me.
ves que no hace nada? ¿Me deja sola?
Don't you see that she's leaving me all by myself to do all of this?
Entró en un diálogo con Jesús,
She came into a dialogue with Jesus,
pero no para alabarlo,
but not to worship,
no para bendecirlo,
not to bless,
no para disfrutar de él, de su presencia,
not to enjoy being in his presence,
sino para
but
quejarse.
to complain.
Cayó en la queja.
She fell into complaints.
Ese es un obstáculo muy grande
This is a huge obstacle
para que tú puedas entrar en intimidad con Dios.
that will keep you from coming into intimacy with him.
Cuando el pueblo de Israel,
When the people of Israel
Moisés los sacó de Egipto,
were taking note of
de la
Egypt
tierra de
with Moses
esclavitud,
from the land of slavery,
y estuvieron en el desierto por 40 años,
and they were in the desert for 40 years,
Dios les suplió todo.
God supplied all
Dijo
their
que sus
needs.
vestidos jamás se desgastaron
The word says that even their clothes didn't wear out,
y nunca les faltó alimento.
and they never were without food.
Dios les proveyó maná del cielo.
God provided them manna from heaven.
Pero llegó el momento
But the moment came
que el pueblo comenzó
that the people
a
began
angustiarse,
to be worried and filled with anxiety,
a tener ansiedad,
to have
a
worry
preocuparse.
And they were worried.
Entonces comenzó a quejarse.
And when they were
Y le
worried, they began to
decían a
complain.
Moisés,
And they told Moses,
¿por qué nos sacaste?
why did you take us?
Hubiésemos preferido seguir de esclavos, pero allá teníamos más diversión.
It would have been better for us to be slaves still, because there at least we had more.
Aquí ya estamos hartos de comer maná, siempre lo mismo.
Here we're tired of eating the same thing every day.
Y queja tras queja.
And it was complaint after complaint after complaint.
Marta, Jesús, ¿por qué no dices a mi hermana que me ayude?
Martha and Jesus. She said, Jesus, why don't you tell my sister to help me?
Déjame decirte algo.
Let me tell you something.
Tú sabes muy bien
You know very well
que cuando cantamos alabanzas,
that when we sing worship,
le estamos dando la gloria a Dios.
we're giving the glory to God.
¿Sí sabes esto?
Did you know that?
Porque Él es digno de recibir toda gloria.
Because he is worthy to receive
Cuando
all glory.
cantamos alabanzas a Dios,
When we are singing worship to
le
God,
estamos dando toda la gloria.
we're giving him all the glory.
Pero cuando te quejas,
But when you complain,
le estás dando la alabanza y la gloria al diablo.
you're giving honor and glory to the enemy, to the devil.
Esa es la alabanza para Él.
It's worship for him.
La queja es la alabanza para el enemigo.
Complaints are worship for the enemy.
Grábate esto.
Put that in your mind.
El día que quieras quejarte,
The day that you want to complain,
dile, no te mereces mi alabanza.
tell him you don't deserve my worship.
El único que merece toda gloria, honra y mi alabanza
The only one who deserves my honor, glory, and worship
es aquel que me sacó de donde yo estaba
is him who brought me out of
y
the
que me ha
place
dado
where
vida
I was
eterna.
and gave me eternal life.
Amén.
Amen.
¿Qué otro aspecto te va a hacer que tú puedas controlar la ansiedad?
What else can be done to control this anxiety?
Que no puedas quejarte.
That you can't complain.
Dice en Juan 14:2.
John 14:2 says,
En Juan 14:2 dice, en la casa de mi Padre muchas moradas hay.
in my Father's house are many rooms.
Si no fuera así, yo se los hubiera ya dicho.
If it were not so, would I have told you?
Voy pues a preparar un lugar para vosotros.
Would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you?
Y si me fuera, yo prepararé lugar y vendré otra vez.
And if I go, where's the next part? It's gone.
O sea, prepararé un lugar, vendré otra vez
I will
y
go
te tomaré a ti mismo para que donde yo estoy, ustedes vosotros también estéis.
I will go and prepare a place for you. Then I will come back and I will take you and bring you to the place that I have prepared for you.
Esta es una promesa.
This is a promise.
¿Por qué menciono esto?
Why do I mention this?
Porque a final de cuentas, como decíamos al principio,
Because at the
lo
end of things,
único que vamos a hacer
like I said at the beginning, the
cuando
only thing we're
Jesús
going to
venga
do
por nosotros
when Jesus comes for us,
es alabarlo.
we are only going to be
Y
worshiping.
necesitamos acostumbrarnos a ellos.
And we should get used to it.
¿Vamos a tener distracciones? Sí.
Are we going to be distracted
¿Vamos a
and
tener
have
problemas?
distractions? Yes.
Sí.
Are we going to have problems? Yes.
Y yo le comentaba a un grupo de mujeres con las cuales oramos todos los días.
And I was sharing with a group of women that I pray with every morning.
Tuvimos un retiro y prediqué un poco acerca de esto.
We had a retreat a while ago and I shared about this.
Y yo les daba la referencia
And I gave them the reference
del castillo, el Buckingham de Inglaterra.
And I was telling them about Buckingham Palace
No sé
in
si
England.
algunos ya hayan ido y lo conozcan o lo hayan visto en la tele o en internet,
You've probably seen it on the internet
donde
or on TV or you've heard of it.
vivía la reina Isabel, ahora el rey Carlos, ¿verdad?
That's where King Carlos is now. King Charles, thank you.
Ya.
My wife.
Quiero que guardes esta imagen.
I want you to keep this image in
Es
your
un
mind.
palacio enorme,
It's a huge palace.
precioso.
It's beautiful.
Tiene 775 habitaciones.
It has 775 rooms.
¿Tú crees que las utiliza todas?
Do you think that they use all of them?
¿Quién sabe?
Who knows?
Pero a mí me hace recordar
But for me, it makes me
lo
remember
que la palabra dice aquí.
what the Word of God says
Dice,
right
me
here.
fui a preparar
That I went to
un
prepare
lugar
a place
para ti,
for you,
para que donde yo esté,
so that where I am,
ustedes también estén.
you can also
Y
be.
si aquí en la tierra hay palacios como ese,
And so if here on earth there are palaces like Buckingham Palace,
imagínense el palacio que Dios nos está preparando.
try to imagine the palace that God is
Y
preparing
dice
for
que va a
us.
tener un lugar para ti.
And it says that He is preparing a place
Y a
for
mí
you.
me recuerda en Jeremías
And it also makes me
lo
remember
que
in
la palabra
Jeremiah
dice,
what the Word of God says.
que Dios no es hijo de hombre para que mienta.
That God is not like a man to lie. He doesn't lie.
Ni hijo de hombre para que se arrepienta de hacer las cosas.
Nor a son of man that he repents from doing things when he makes a decision.
Amén.
Amen.
Entonces, cosas que tú tienes que hacer
Things that you and I have to do
para mantener tu mirada fija con el Señor y
In order-
permanecer en intimidad.
in order to keep our eyes fixed on Him and to remain in intimacy with Him.
Prepárate.
Prepare yourselves.
Vivimos ahorita aquí en la tierra.
Right now we live here on earth.
En lo natural tienes que hacer lo posible por cuidar el templo que Dios te ha dado.
Naturally speaking, we have to do everything we can to take care of the temple that God
Somos
has given
seres
us.
tripartitos,
We are
seres con espíritu, alma y cuerpo.
beings that are made of three parts: spirit, mind, and body.
Somos responsables de cuidarlo.
We are responsible to take care of it.
Cuida tus pensamientos,
Guard your thoughts.
cuida tu alma,
Guard your soul.
cuida tu cuerpo.
Guard your body.
¿Cómo? Tratándolo bien.
How? Treating them well.
El hacer ejercicio
Doing exercise
vas a liberar la ansiedad.
will help you to release
El comer
anxiety.
sano
Eating healthy
te vas a sentir mejor.
will help your body to feel
Hasta
better.
unos kilitos además vas a bajar.
And you might even lose a few
Es un
pounds.
plus, ¿verdad?
It's
Un
an added
beneficio.
plus.
Haz lo que tengas que hacer por mantenerte sano
Do what you need to do to remain healthy.
en lo espiritual para venirte a sentar a los pies de Jesús.
Spiritually talking, to come and sit at the feet of
¿Qué
Jesus.
dice David en el Salmo?
What does it say in the Psalms?
No olvides ninguno de sus beneficios.
Don't forget any of His benefits and blessings.
¿Ha hecho Dios algún beneficio contigo?
Has God blessed you in some way?
¿Sí o no?
Yes!
¿Te ha dado algo bueno Dios?
Has God given you something good?
Culture Sunday. Aquí habemos de otras culturas.
We're together here from many different cultures.
Si estás aquí,
If you are here,
es por la gracia y misericordia de Dios.
it's because of God's grace for
Porque
you.
Dios ha sido bueno.
Because God has been good to you.
¿Tienes salud?
Are you healthy?
Dale gracias a Dios. Él ha sido bueno.
Give thanks. God has been good to you.
¿Tienes comida?
Do you have food to eat?
¿Comes todos los días?
Do you have something to eat every day?
¿Tienes un abrigo para el frío?
Do you have a coat to keep you warm?
¿Estás caminando descalzo?
Are you walking without shoes on?
No, ¿verdad?
No.
Familias, esposos, ¿tienen hijos?
Families, wives, husbands, do you have children?
Jóvenes, ¿tienen a sus padres?
Young people, do you have your parents near you?
Todavía viene
Are you-
el amado o la amada, espérenlo.
Maybe you're still waiting for that special someone to come into your life.
Dios ha sido bueno.
God has been good.
¿Cómo vas a vencer
How are you going to be victorious?
esa ansiedad,
How are you going to defeat
esas
this anxiety,
preocupaciones,
these worries,
esos pensamientos que te distraen?
these thoughts that so easily distract us?
Recuerda,
Remember,
no olvides
don't forget
ninguno de los beneficios de Dios.
any of God's blessings in your life.
Sé agradecido.
Be thankful.
Cuando quiera venir, cuando vengan tus pensamientos
When those thoughts come
de tristeza,
of
de
sadness,
preocupación,
of worry,
de angustia,
of
de
anxiety,
soledad,
of being all alone,
recuerda lo bueno que Dios ha sido contigo.
remember all the ways God has been good to you in your life.
Si te cuesta hacer eso,
If it's difficult for you to do this,
escríbelo.
try writing them down.
Mantén una libreta,
Keep a little journal
una
with you.
lista y léelas.
Make a list of them
¿Qué
and read
Dios ha
them.
hecho conmigo?
All the things that God has done for me.
Y recítalas, háblalas,
Recite them, say them over and over again.
grábalas en tu mente y en tu corazón
Write them in your mind and in your heart
para que tú puedas luchar contra esa ansiedad
so that you can fight back against
que
this
te roba la
anxiety
paz.
that steals your peace.
Y número 2,
And number 2,
recuerda que aquí estás de paso,
remember that here you are just passing
que
through.
vas a un mejor lugar,
You're on your way to a
que
better
Dios
place
está preparando para ti.
that God is preparing for you.
Quiero terminar con esto.
And I want to finish with
En
this.
Números 11:23.
In Numbers 11:23.
¿Acaso mi brazo ha perdido su poder?
And the Lord said to Moses, "Is the Lord's hand shortened?
Ahora verás
Now you shall see
si mi palabra se cumple o no.
whether my word will come true for you or not."
Dios te está diciendo hoy mismo.
Today, God is saying to you,
Dios te está diciendo hoy mismo.
today, God is
¿Tú
saying to
crees
you,
que mi brazo ha perdido su poder para seguirte bendiciendo?
do you think that my hand has lost its power to continue blessing you?
¿Tú crees que yo no puedo hacer algo nuevo en tu vida?
Do you not think that I can do something new
¿Tú
in your
crees
life?
que yo no te puedo sanar?
Do you think that I can't heal you?
¿Tú crees que yo no te puedo proveer?
Do you not think that I can provide for you?
Ahora vas a ver, dice el Señor,
Now you're going to see, the Lord
si mi
says,
palabra se cumple o no.
if my word will come true or not.
María
Mary
escogió la mejor parte,
chose the best part,
sentarse a los pies.
to be seated at Jesus' feet.
Escojamos esa mejor parte.
Let's choose that best part.
Pero dice que María se sentó a escuchar.
And it says that Mary sat down in order to listen.
En Salmos 23 nos dice, siéntate a la mesa, aquí está el banquete.
In Psalm 23, we read that it says, sit down at the table. This banquet has been
Aunque
prepared for
vayan a
you.
estar esas voces ajenas,
Even though those voices
aunque
will be
vayan a
around,
estar todos esos pensamientos que te quieran distraer y sacar,
even though there's going to be all those thoughts that are going to be rolling around in your mind trying
tú
to distract
tienes
you,
que aprender
you need to learn
a controlarlo
to control them
y a decir,
and to say,
Padre, yo creo en ti
Father, I
y
believe
quiero
in you,
permanecer en tu presencia.
and I want to remain in your
Worship team,
presence.
¿se me ayudan?
Worship team.
Yo no sé si tú has pasado por problemas de ansiedad.
I don't know if you've gone through problems with anxiety.
¿Qué has estado viviendo en esta temporada?
I don't know what you're living through during this time.
Si te has alejado de la presencia de Dios,
if you've felt distant from God's presence,
o si te cuesta entrar en intimidad con el Padre.
or if you find it hard to be in intimacy with God.
Pero yo te invito este día
But today I want to invite you
a que vuelvas a intentarlo,
that you try again,
que vengas a la presencia de Dios.
that you come into God's presence.
Tocaron hoy una alabanza que decía que venía a los pies de Jesús, sentarse a los pies, sitting in the, ¿sí, no?
That you were singing a song about sitting at the feet of Jesus. Yeah. Could you sing that?
Voy a invitarte que ahí donde estás,
I'm going to invite you there
que
where you
no
are,
te importe,
that you don't
que
think
no te
about,
interese nada.
that you don't worry
¿Quién
about
está a
anything
tu
around
lado?
you. Who's beside
¿Qué
you?
van a decir si me paro?
What are they going to say
¿Qué van a
if I
decir si
stand
paso
up?
al frente?
What are they going to say if
¿Qué
I
te
decide to come forward?
importa? Si
does it matter?
necesitas ser lleno de la presencia de Dios,
If you need
tú
to be filled
tienes
with
que dar
God's presence,
pasos.
you need to take steps.
Porque no es lo mismo solamente escuchar,
Because it's not the same thing
no
as
es
just
solamente
listening.
conocer
It's not enough just to know
si tú no haces nada,
if you don't do anything.
si tú no das pasos de acción.
If you don't take steps
No
of
va
action,
a pasar absolutamente nada.
nothing is going to happen.
Solamente estás escuchando, recibiendo y llenándote.
You're only listening and filling yourself up.
Necesitas accionar.
You also need to take action.
Necesitas hacer cambios.
You need to make changes.
Que no te importe quién tienes al lado, que
Don't-
te importe el que tienes enfrente de ti.
Don't worry about who's beside you or in front of you.
Jesús te está invitando.
Jesus is the one inviting you.
Jesús tuvo muchas maneras en la
Jesus-
palabra de Dios de hablar a la gente.
Jesus had many ways to speak to people in the Word.
Les decía, síganme,
He said, "Follow me."
vengan conmigo, súbanse a la barca,
He said, "Come with me. Get on the boat with me.
subamos al monte,
Come with me up this mountain.
cruza conmigo al otro lado.
Cross
Del
over
mar.
this ocean with me, this lake with me."
Y muchas otras más maneras,
And many other ways.
llamando nuestra atención.
Calling our
Dios
attention.
está llamando tu atención.
Today, God is
¿Quieres
calling your
escuchar su
attention.
voz?
Are you
¿Quieres
listening to
ser
His
lleno
voice?
de Él?
Do you want to be filled with Him today?
Dice, sin reservas ni condiciones.
Without reserves or without
Tienes que abrir
conditions.
tu corazón
You need to open your heart
para ser lleno.
so that you can be filled.
¿Has pasado por tristezas,
Have you gone through deep sadness,
angustias?
worries?
¿Hay algo que te pesa, que no te deja avanzar ni
Is there
continuar?
something in your life that's weighing you down?
Dios quiere liberarte hoy
Today,
y
Jesus wants
quiere
to free you,
llenarte,
and He wants to fill you,
pero tienes que estar dispuesto.
but you need to be ready.
No soy yo,
It's not me.
no es Aarón,
It's not me.
no es nadie.
It's nobody.
Es Jesús que te está diciendo, quiero tocarte.
It's only Jesus
Quiero
that's saying,
llenarte.
"I want to touch you and I want to fill you."